morning, guys, or good afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Back again with another video, and it's the video everybody been asking for. The video that everybody been asking for. So I'm gonna bring it to light. Now, like I said, I don't really have nothing bad to say about Millis at all. Pretty much nothing bad at all. It's just kind of what everybody's preference is when it comes to working at Millis. Now, another thing that other people been asking for is OTR versus regional. OTR versus regional. I got my notes on my phone, so y'all gonna work with me. But pros and cons of working at Millis Transfer. The CDL training program. If you're trying to get your CDL, I would advise to come here. I called around to a lot of companies, and you know, I kind of figured out my best option. Out of the 3 options, I did my research and I chose Millis because this is why. They was top pay certified company, and I looked at the rookie pay and the training pay, and it was outstanding compared to every other company that I looked up. It's 3.5 weeks long, man, and basically that process is so quick, and it's gonna be either you make it or you don't make it. It was like $500 some, so that was great. Like I said, a week then training. I looked at other companies, and the ones I was gonna go with, the other one did not pay then training at all. You had to pay for everything. They give you enough money to pay for a hotel room and to eat. They do on-site testing. So what I mean by that is, that same lot you practice in, it's the same lot you're gonna test in besides a road test. So you can't beat that. You know the playground, you know the play field. You've been on the play field for 3.5 weeks. So you better pass it, because you've been on that play field for 3.5 weeks. This the best thing about it too. I didn't know this was even gonna happen. I'm like, okay, I take my loss or whatever with the money. Oh well, they reimburse you everything back. Once you pass the test, they reimburse you everything back. They give you the hotel. You give them how much, you give the receipts to the hotel, so keep your receipts. They give you give them the receipts for the hotel. They reimburse you for what you paid for 3.5 weeks. Another pro is you can work on your pre-trip inspection after hours. So after you get done with training, after you get done with you know, school, you go back. You could go back after hours. You know the gate code. You go in and you work on your pre-trip inspection, and I did that. So you could work after hours on your pre-trip inspection and in-cab inspection and stuff like that. Basically, you do orientation for 2 days. They get you with a trainer, and then boom, you're with that trainer. And like most companies do 3 months. Some companies do, you know, X amount of months. Some of them do X amount of miles. Millis do X amount of miles. And it's 15, if I'm not mistaken, don't take my word, I think it's 15,000 miles. It's either 20 or 15. I don't remember. But you're going to do either that. And I think that took me like 2 and some change. 2 months and some change. The only con that I have about the school and kind of training, I got 2 cons. I thought I had 1 con. I had 2 cons. The first con is that they pair CDL holders, like newly fresh out the state CDL holders that don't got enough experience, well, that got 0 experience because they still have to go through the school with us at Millis. It's like they don't necessarily care too much about that because they already did that, versus me having a permit. This all I got, you know? This is like, either I'm changing my life, or if I feel like this, I got to figure out what else I'm gonna do in life. So the only con I got about training is it actually takes a minute to get to your truck. Like, so you do the 20,000 miles, but you might not get to your truck till next month, just to see, because it depends on where you at. It depends on, is it available? Do they got to clean it out? Do they got to get it ready? And it's not going to be like that for everybody. So you actually kind of just run a team, but on the trainee pay. I got my notes on my phone, so y'all gonna work with me. But pros and cons of working at Millis Transfer. You can become a trainer in your first year being with this company, as long as you have no wrecks, no accidents, no preventable accidents, and you gotta watch your idle time. That's pretty much it. They got this thing called per diem, and this is what, when I get to the cons, you'll understand why per diem saves everything. Like, per diem saves everything that they did as far as changing. Breakdown and layover pay, $125. Okay, now let's be technical. That's decent. I mean, a lot of that's decent. Put it that way. That's decent. That's like in the middle. You know, they basically give you half of what you were making a day, and that's not necessarily the truth. Like, that's just me going with the average, with the average person. Cause like me, I run, so I probably make more than half of that in a day. But even if it is, the average person probably make $200 some a day worth driving trucks for a starter company. I don't know about other companies, but starter companies. So they give you half, which that is great. So hey, still got paid to sit in the truck, watch a movie, and whatever, you know, lay down, get some rest. And they will get you a hotel quick. I will say this: if your truck broke down, and it's got to go to the shop, they are gonna get you a hotel and pay for everything. Everything. I mean, including sometimes, like, if they get you a bay mount, it's gonna be food at the bay mount in the morning and in the afternoon. And you ain't gonna have to buy no food. They take care of you. So I give Millis that. They take care of you. Since I've been at Millis, I have not been in a truck under 2025. I haven't been in this truck right now got 27,000 miles on it. Every truck I done been in had less than 30,000 miles on it. Brand spanking new. So right now I'm in the 2026. I went from 2025 to 2026. And it's like, man, they gonna put you in a brand new truck. Not every company, not no company. I ain't gonna say no company. Not every company gonna put you in a brand new truck. Every truck I done been in has been brand new, clean, spotless, all that. So yeah, Millis is good for putting you in a brand new truck. Now, let's get to the cons. Cons of the company whole wide would be no 401k match. Okay? And I will say this. Millis had, because I got it, I came into Millis right when it got basically transferred all the way to Heartland. Like, they went completely under Heartland. So a lot of these changes ain't Millis, it's Heartland. So can't even get too mad about it, because that's what happens, you know. No bonuses, and no guaranteed pay. They had guaranteed pay before. It was $1,300, and then when they made that transition straight to under Heartland, all like completely under Heartland, they took away the guaranteed pay and they took away the bonuses. Now, with that being said, right, that's where per diem come into play. That got took, and they let like a whole wave of drivers wash out. They got mad, that washed out, and all that, right? I mean, I was in the lobby sometimes, and they'll be like, "Oh, they took this, they took the 4." Was one dude, they said, "Oh, I'm done. They took the 401k match away. I'm leaving." So literally, me and my trainer was talking. And he was telling me like, "Hey man, just stay here, stick it out. It's gonna get better." And lo and behold, they gave us a pretty good amount. I'm not putting too much out there, but they gave us a pretty good amount per diem to make up for what they took after they lost a wave of drivers. They got driver facing cameras. All the companies got driver facing cameras, like all the company trucks. They got driver facing cameras. But I will say this, they turn them off after a year. Once you done did your first year, you don't have to worry about driver facing camera no more. You cover them up, or, well, I wouldn't say cover them up, because they probably gonna call you and be like, "Hey, uncover the camera," you know. But they don't watch the camera. I'll give you that. They do not watch the camera. They tell you can do whatever you want to. Even if you want to cover it up, I think you can. Don't take my word for that. I don't know that for sure. But I know after your first year, your front camera goes off. well, your driver facing camera turns off. Okay, another con is this, the main one right here. The wait list for loads. This is one of my biggest cons. Now, the wait list for loads is so aggravating because they give you the layover pay. That's $125 if you sit a full day. But man, you might be on a steady run. You good, man. You running on recaps, and then you get to like Washington D.C. You got this brewery that was delivered to in Washington D.C. When you go there, you're gonna be on the wait list, guaranteed every time. You're gonna be on the wait list because there's not that much freight coming out of Washington D.C. The last thing, as far as company-wide, freight moves slow from the start of the holidays. So maybe out Thanksgiving, let's just say from Thanksgiving, it moves slow. It picks back up right before Christmas, and a little bit, probably like a couple days after Christmas, maybe a week after Christmas, and then it's down. It's down all the way till spring. It's not slow, but it's not like from spring to the holidays though. From spring to the holidays, I'm talking about you can make a killing. You making good money. Like you making like I'm talking about maybe you making bands a month. Put it that way. Like I'm talking about some bands a month. When it comes down to the snow, when it snows, Millis shuts you down. You can't chain up. They don't allow chains, and you can't basically purchase chains and put it in the truck. And they not gonna purchase chains and put them in the truck. You better be off that road. That's all I can say. You better be off the road. Basically, you cannot move your truck until Millis send out the message and say, hey, you can now operate your truck and whatever, you know. But no, you cannot go off what someone else say, and you cannot go off the weather app. You have to wait till Millis say you can go. So that was a con for me because I like to run, but they pay you, like I said, that's where the layover pay and the breakdown pay come into play. They pay you for sitting there. So it ain't like you just sitting there and not getting paid for it. You're getting paid. I just like to run. My bad, I left con out. Another con would be they only do drive-in. You have no option to do nothing else. It's just strictly drive-in. So when you come here and you be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get my tankers and all this and all that, and you get all that. If you plan on staying with this company, you're only doing drive-in. Ain't no reefer, ain't no nothing. It's just strictly drive-in. But now, another thing that other people been asking for is OTR versus regional. OTR versus regional. The pros for OTR is more miles. You're guaranteed more miles. OTR, okay? Guaranteed more miles. In my opinion, the pay was more consistent OTR. That's my opinion. You're dominantly Midwest, but you come down to the Southeast too. You know, so that it just more miles. The bigger truck, obviously. The bigger truck, if you run OTR for Millis Transfer, you're gonna get a bigger truck. And I'm gonna put them in the videos. So right now, I probably put in the video of the tour of the OTR truck. But yes, you get the bigger truck. It's more comfortable. You can walk around. I mean, it's great. Another thing is, I had more drop-in hooks OTR than I did regional. And it sounds crazy. It might not sound crazy, but I know at Millis here, I had more drop-in hooks OTR than I did regional. Regional, like I said, we're gonna get to that. The con of OTR is you have to stay out a mandatory 2 weeks unless it's a dire emergency. Like it has to be an emergency, but you have to stay out mandatory 2 weeks. Let's get into regional. Now we're gonna get into regional. So regional, The pros to regional, like I said, everybody different. But you home every weekend if you want to be. If you want to be. You home every weekend, you get your reset at home. And they gonna send a message out Wednesday and they gonna say, hey, who's all working the weekend? You know? And if you know, you put in there you want to work the weekend. If you don't, you don't. You just don't send a message at all. Another pro is your dispatcher regional usually keep you close to the house. Like, hey, you might have a load that go up to Tennessee. Cause like me, I stay off 75. So I will run 75 a lot. Cause boom, if I got tired, I could just go to the house and just go to sleep, take my 10 at the house, wake back up and deliver load in the morning. So your dispatcher regional usually tries to keep you close to the house. Now 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be close to the house. Like I said, back to what it is. When the freight is good, you can squeeze in 2 loads regional that'll put you in a good spot as far as pay. But regional, you're gonna work for all your money. You're gonna work. You're gonna have to run. You can't be sitting there, I'm gonna take me this break and this break and this break. You can, but it's gonna correlate into you getting the next load. So you can squeeze 2 loads out regional when the freight's moving good. Another pro is you're only southeast region with Millis. So basically your cutoffs would be Arkansas, Louisiana to North Carolina, South Carolina. And we'll get to that, but that's basically your region. Now let's get to the cons. When the freight is slow, like I was saying earlier, they got their times. I told you how it is. When the freight is slow, don't even think. Don't even think that you're gonna get that many miles. Don't even think, cause the thing is, you're not gonna get that many miles when the freight's slow. But if you can still squeeze out that one load in a reasonable time, you can get another load. You know, so it plays a part in how you run. They give you a smaller truck, which I do not like. I cannot stand. I do not like it. I did not like the regional truck, and that's my preference. That's my preference. Like, hey, somebody else might like it, but the truck is smaller because I see how they did it. It's designed for you to only be out 5 days a week and you go home. You know, go home the weekend and you do 5 days a week. That's why the truck is smaller. Other than that though, that's my last con. I already know it because everything else been so good. It's a good journey, man. So if y'all ask me anything, I'm gonna definitely say come to Millis. And if you decide to come to Millis off my video, don't forget to put my name. Other than that, man, that'd be it, guys. That'll be it. Now we're just sitting here waiting for a load.